Hello and welcome to Read Aloud Stories with Mrs. R. I'm Mrs. Rosenthal, but a lot of kids like to call me Mrs. R. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be minuscule? Minuscule means very, very tiny. Well, that's what happens to the title character in the book I'm about to read, The Incredible Shrinking Teacher. Tell me, from the title and the front cover, what do you think the genre will be? Do you think it will be fiction out of the imagination of the author, or do you think it will be nonfiction? Nonfiction gives us information. Right. It would be fiction. And what kind of fiction do you think it is? Do you think it's realistic fiction, something that really could happen? Do you think it's historical fiction, something that happened in history? Or do you think it's fantasy, something that's fun to read about but couldn't really happen in real life? Yes, it's fantasy. So, let's watch The Incredible Shrinking Teacher. The Incredible Shrinking Teacher, written and illustrated by Lisa Passen. Miss Irma Birnbaum was the toughest teacher in town. But none of the children cared. It was the day before the last day of school, and summer fun was on their minds. Other teachers in other classrooms were having parties, real fun parties. Miss Irma Birnbaum went on with her lessons, spelling, reading, math.
Homework for tomorrow, she announced, is to be prepared for a surprise. I bet Miss Birnbaum's surprise is a test with 101 questions,
said Ruby Flint when the end of school bell rang. Miss Birnbaum is the cruelest teacher in the world, exclaimed Johnny O'Leary. The children never would have guessed what Miss Irma Birnbaum had in store for them. A last day of school celebration. Miss Irma Birnbaum stayed late to prepare for the party. She decorated with balloons and streamers. She placed a present at each desk. She put out a special party game, pinned the verb on the noun. Miss Irma Birnbaum went to the cafeteria kitchen to make her favorite party treats: prune pudding, kidney bean cookies, and Brussels sprout juice. She had to reach up high for a tray. The stool she stood on was shaky. She slipped and fell right into the prune pudding, kidney bean cookies, and Brussels sprout juice. Miss Irma Birnbaum felt funny. Her stockings started to itch. Her glasses fell off, and she rubbed her eyes. Miss Irma Birnbaum put her glasses back on.
"What a mess!"
she exclaimed, and promptly cleaned up the kitchen. She noticed something was different. Everything seemed larger. She had to push hard to open the cafeteria door.
"Water,"
said Miss Irma Birnbaum.
"I need a drink of water."
But she was too tiny to reach the water fountain.
"This is incredible! I'm shrinking!"
A light was on in the gym. Perhaps the custodian was still in the school. The little teacher struggled to open the supply room door. Dozens of balls and bats fell on top of her. Miss Irma Birnbaum straightened herself up. She had become even smaller.
"I must stop shrinking before morning, or the last day of school party will be ruined."
She headed for the library. Perhaps one of the books would have a solution to her unusual predicament. The library shelves seemed as tall as skyscrapers. Miss Irma Birnbaum pulled and pulled and pulled, but the books on the bottom shelves wouldn't budge. She was still shrinking. She wandered through the hallways. Finally, she arrived at the only place where an answer could be found: the classroom. Miss Irma Birnbaum carried blocks back to the science center and made a stairway. As she read her science notes, she heard a strange noise. Miss Irma Birnbaum turned around. Behind her was a giant monster. Someone had left the door to the class pet's cage open. Zippy the hamster looked very hungry. Zippy chased Miss Irma Birnbaum across the table. She ran into his cage and ran and ran and ran. Miss Irma Birnbaum ran the entire night. The sun rose and Zippy finally fell asleep. Why would Zippy finally fall asleep when the sun rose? What kind of animals are awake all night but go to sleep when it's daytime? Did you say nocturnal? You're right. What kind of animals are humans? We're diurnal because we're awake during the day and asleep at night. A weary Miss Irma Birnbaum staggered down the blocks. Tired. I am so tired. The school bell rang. Children filled the halls. Miss Irma Birnbaum, smaller than ever, was almost crushed in the crowd. Johnny O'Leary's lunch bag fell out of his backpack. A big, fat chocolate cupcake landed right on top of Miss Irma Birnbaum. She thought she was done for. Something yucky is stuck on my cupcake, said Johnny. Look, yelled Ruby. It's Miss Birnbaum! Miss Irma Birnbaum shouted. The children could only hear a teeny tiny whisper. Help me! Help me! The children rushed her to Principal Renfield's office. Miss Birnbaum! Exclaimed the principal. Where's the rest of you? The minuscule teacher slipped from Principal Renfield's hand and fell into his award-winning tropical fish aquarium. The principal thought quickly. He scooped Miss Irma Birnbaum from the fish tank. A small drop of chocolate icing was still stuck to her lip. She licked it off. What will help Miss Irma Birnbaum grow back to her normal size? What's your prediction? Oh, a prediction is when you guess what's going to happen next in the story. What's your prediction? Miss Irma Birnbaum felt funny. Her stocking started to itch. To everyone's amazement, she began to grow right in front of their very eyes. Soon, Miss Irma Birnbaum was her regular size. I will never again make prune pudding, she declared. Huh? Said Johnny. Miss Birnbaum used Principal Renfield's telephone to order pizza and cake to be delivered to her classroom. The children were thrilled. It was a fun-filled last day of school. Games, snacks, songs, dancing. Finally, the children opened their presents. Each one received a miniature dictionary. Miss Birnbaum, said Ruby, this was the best last day of school party ever. Miss Irma Birnbaum smiled. Well, I know what it's like to be little. I'm so relieved the chocolate icing on the cupcake saved Miss Irma Birnbaum. Was that your prediction? All I know is I am never going to eat prune pudding. What if I shrank? What if you shrank? Then you'd become the incredible shrinking student. That would make a great story. You could write about the things you could do, the things you could not do. What would happen? What would save you? If you would like writing papers to write the incredible shrinking student, you can find the links if you look under the video screen at the bottom for the words Show More. Click on those words and that will take you to the links. If you're on a phone, then just click on the title of the story and that will take you to the links as well. I hope you have fun writing your story. Meanwhile, thanks so much for watching The Incredible Shrinking Teacher at Read Aloud Stories with Mrs. R. Until next time, don't forget to read.